big final. And I suppose we'll know, gentlemen, in a few minutes' time, in a little over 20 minutes, as to whether this belief that we have, that they have the belief, will actually stand up to the pressure.
Yeah, well, the first rule of war, I think, is that, you know, in the first skirmish, all the planning that was made in advance goes out the window, and players in a big game like this will be the same thing. They'll have plotted and planned for weeks and weeks on end, and once the players go on the field, it takes a life of its own.
Yeah.
And in that sort of scenario, always the cream comes to the top, and the brilliant players stand out. And that's why over the last 10 years we've had Gooch and Peter Canavan and Sean Kavanagh, and players like that, Darragh O'Shea, who dominate finals. It will be the same today. Cork need a hero, and they're searching for him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they haven't found him yet in the big day in Croke Park. Maybe this is the day for Paul Kerrigan or Daniel Goulding or Paddy Kelly to become the hero and steer Cork home, because it would look, if you're looking at the flair players, that down have Benny Coulter, Danny Hughes, and of course Marty Clark. So it's going to be a test. Who's going to be the star? Who's going to guide his team home?
You don't give any credence at all to the way the team sets up, like the system or the pattern of play or anything like that. You think that's irrelevant?
Well, you know
what I mean?
No, I do. But Pat made the comment earlier that he thought Cork were a bit more composed this year. That'd be the last word I used with Cork.
I said it in the last 15-20 minutes against Dublin. It was the first time in vital games that they did show composure, that they did show leadership in that last 20 minutes.
But I think that it was purely by chance that they won that game. But the other thing about it is, you make the point that sort of Cork are a bit disorganised. Now, I don't agree with that either. You can't get to All-Ireland finals year after year and beat all the teams, bar Kerry, without having a certain plan, a certain organisation. So it's somewhere between the two.
I think that they're a very powerful team. They're brilliant at winning the ball and recycling the ball and all of that. But the difficulty is, it was highlighted against the Dubs that whenever you play against that sort of organised defence, you need to know specifically what it is you're doing, and which is why they floundered so badly against the Dubs. And I suppose the difference between Dublin and Down is that Down have a greater variety of scorers and a greater variety of skills in their team. And, you know, when you couple that with the systematic way that they've been playing, you know, you think that it's going to be even more difficult for Cork today. You make this point about heroes, but, you know, magical performances don't just materialise.
All right, lads, let's go down pitch side to find out who Marty Morrissey has with him right now.
Thank you very much, Michael. I've been to both dressing rooms before they emerged onto the pitch. No changes on the Down team, but I've been told 99.99 Graham Canty will not start this All-Ireland final, and the man that will take his place is John Miskela. Well, I'm joined by two players who played against each other, marked each other in the All-Ireland semi-final of 1994, Niall Cahalan and Mickey Linden. Fond memories of that match, I believe, Niall, for you.
I didn't get this close to him, I can assure you that day. You know, it was a torturous outing for me, Marty, I assure you. You know, probably the beginning and the end.
Niall, talk to me about the absence of Graham Canty. The lads in the studio with Mike were talking about looking for a hero. Yeah. Graham Canty has been a hero in the past.
Yeah, Graham Canty, as I have said in the past, over the last decade, has been certainly the leading light in Cork football. Is he going to be a loss? Yes, there's no doubt about it. But I also think that it isn't in the last 2 hours or in the last 24 hours that Cork have decided that Graham Canty is out. You know what I mean? I think that when I see the team named during the week, I just felt there was no way.
Will it upset the balance?
I would say not, because I think they've planned without it before now.
Mickey Linden, obviously this has been an incredible journey led by James McCartan, but Ambrose Rogers, it looks like he's able to play if required, I've been told. How true is that, or how accurate is that?
I know he played for 35 minutes in a training game last weekend and played fairly well in it, but whether he's able to come up to the speed and the intensity of an All-Ireland final, it's very doubtful at this stage. If things were going very well in the last 10 minutes or something, there might be a chance of him introduced, but I can't really see him introduced apart from that. But let's see how it goes. First of all, you know, it's nice to see that he's out there anyway. He led the team out. And
just a very quick comment from both of you. They talk about Cork's squad. You know, you have Nicholas Murphy, Declan, Derek Kavanagh to be introduced. Is that a fear and apprehension and Down? Too many big guns?
Yeah, well, I would have said some of those fellas maybe we should have started the team. You know, I'd have feared Nicholas Murphy on the team rather than the midfield they have at the minute. But I think our midfield is going to compete very well today. I don't see any reason why Peter Fitzpatrick and Callum King can't break 50-50 or even better in that sector. And obviously the power and strength of the Cork half-back line coming through, that would worry me probably a wee bit more than their midfield.
very briefly, because we're running out of time, Cork to win this, considering that squad that you've mentioned to me in the past?
I would think, yes, if we're within any 2 or 3 points of down with 20 minutes to go, I think game, set and match.
Okay, Mickey Linden, Niall Callahan, thank you very much for joining us. And indeed, we send our best wishes to your dad. This is his first All-Ireland final. That's John Callahan down in Castlehaven in West Cork. Hope you enjoyed the All-Ireland final. Let's get the scene set from our big match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thanks very much indeed, Marty. You know, when these...
This year they've played too often back in defence and contributing little in attack.
Yeah, no, I'm more on the point that the full forward line tends to be starved of good possession. They don't get the ball in dangerous positions. I mean, you watch Down, for example, or even the Dubs the last day. You know, in spite of the fact that they were very reliant on Brogan, the number of near shaves that Cork had where a ball was given in and it could have been in the net. You know, players were left one-on-one against their man, whereas up the other end, Cork were facing a wall of blue jerseys.
What they need to do is kick the ball long, but not just straight up and down the field. They need to use the diagonal ball. And they have big forwards who will have a height advantage over some of their markers, and the ball is going to be dry. The sun is out here now. It's time to use the high ball in.
I just noticed a second ago there, Pat Spillane, Graham Canty putting in his gum shield. Now, you don't need the gum shield if you're sitting up in the stand, or is that just habit?
I don't know, isn't it crazy, Michael? I just can't I can't buy into this, will he, won't he, whatever like that. You know, like I said, I'm from the old school where you say, this is the 15 we're starting with. No gimmicks, no whatever like that. Beat us if you can.
I do remember Steve Davis chalking his cue after being beaten in the World Snooker Championship by Dennis Taylor.
So it was an involuntary spasm.
Well, they'll want Canty out there, I suppose.
Look, he provides leadership.
He's the captain. He'll probably be out there to meet the president, things like that. If he starts, it'll be a shock, because if there's 10 minutes in Canty, it would be better 10 minutes at the end rather than at the start.
Yeah, okay. The guest of honour, as usual, here at Croke Park for
speed. They're playing along the Tyrone lines. You know, they've worked very hard at getting it right this year. They've improved from game to game. It's clearly a thinking sideline. They're a very happy team. That's why you see them playing in the groove. Zippy, you know, a bit of the oil electrifying sort of atmosphere about them. And I think they'll win the game today, barring unforeseen events.
Well, I think the definition of stupidity is if you keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, and that's why I think that Cork can't do the same as they've been doing in a lot of games this year with their hand passing. I expect a different approach. I think they have power and pace. They've been around a long time. They have the experience. They were brilliant early in the year when they won the league. If they're able to reproduce that sort of form, I think they'll win.
What you did say about the minor match, where the minor Cork players changed their tactics a bit. You can't do the same thing all year and then expect to change it for one day.
Well, they've had a month, and I'm sure when they went back into training on the Tuesday night after they were fortuitous winners over Dublin, they said, we're going to change our style of play and we're going to let the ball in high.
And the high ball will trouble Down, there's no doubt about that.
There's a lot to recommend and to tip Down, because they are the foreign team. But I just think if Cork can play the game more direct, play the game at pace, put the